Nice one, bruh.
Yeah.
Nice one, bruh.
Nice one, bruh.
Oi, bruh.
All right.
All right.
All right,
All right.
Shrimp on the barbie.
Get that shrimp on the bottom.
No, it was really good.
Whatever that
I'm
was.
good at accents.
Shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah.
That was you, dude.
Good day, mate.
What happened to the TV?
Yeah. Oh, I gotta turn it on.
That's what broke when he was on the show. Throw another shrimp on the barbie, mate.
Mate.
I'm from Australia.
Good day, Bobby.
Good day, mate.
Throw some shrimp on me, mate.
There's a wallaby.
How bad can you do an accent? if you
There's
try?
a wallaby and a kangaroo. Koalas are not bears.
Oh, what's going on here? There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Dude, I want that ninja girl. What's her name again? Her fucking figure. That I think Kotobukiya makes one.
The main girl of this show?
No, the main girl of this show is
Yuzuriha.
Yuzuriha. Yeah.
Yuzuriha, yeah.
Who's that?
Yuzu.
Yuzu, that's the ninja girl.
Ninja chick, poisons.
Yeah, who also has sweat or saliva that is also resembles a substance like glue.
I remember that. I forgot. I'm going to be remembering a lot as I talk about this. Just
You
so
didn't watch
know.
it that long ago.
Yeah,
No. But like
just other shit on
But
your
like,
mind.
my brain can't retain information.
brain, mate.
My brain, mate.
mate.
Throw my brain on the Barbie.
My brain, it doesn't work that well, mate.
These horrible accents are my favorite, dude.
All right, want to do the snippy, snappy, clappy, clappy? And welcome back to Anime Shmanime.
Welcome back to Anime Shmanime, mate.
Apparently, we are in the Down Under, and it's fucking terrible. Jordy broke himself. I am so sorry to any of our Australian listeners or viewers.
You couldn't help yourself, man.
Oh my god!
Right.
Wow.
Good start.
Holy fuck! Okay.
Oh my god.
I mean, we are going to a place of paradise, and everything there wants to kill you.
Australia, mate.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done, I promise. I'm done now.
Yes, that's right, guys. We are doing Hell's Paradise. I can't remember, but spoiler alert. If you've been watching us for a while, you guys know that.
Yeah.
We're gonna spoil the fuck out of everything.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And holy shit, I still can't get Australia out of my mind right now.
Australia, mate.
Australia, mate. Okay.
Let me help by telling you a bunch of movies that Hell's Paradise reminded me of.
Okay.
Suicide Squad,
Okay.
Okay.
Demolition Man,
Yeah.
Okay.
the 1994 classic starring Ray Liotta, No Escape.
Nope. Didn't
no.
watch that.
They send all the prisoners to an island,
Okay.
and they have to set up colonies.
Okay.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Pretty good.
Yep.
And
Colonialism. Yeah.
that movie Annihilation. Did you guys see that one?
I did.
Oh, I didn't watch that one.
Big time Annihilation.
Annihilation
vibes.
energy, yeah.
Yeah.
Those were the
100%.
four that came out of my head.
Okay. Well,
You
Demolition
gotta see
Man.
No Escape. Yeah, they have to unfreeze the criminal or the he's like a
Yeah, I know
a
the
disgraced
movie.
cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to get a bad guy in order to do the task.
Oh,
Bad guy do task.
Yeah, they need to get
Duh.
Bad guy do task.
Bad guy do task.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Yeah. Therefore,
okay.
Demolition Man.
yeah.
It's just simple math.
Sylvester Stallone Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock.
Oh, okay.
She does have big Sandra Bullock energy, doesn't she?
does. She really
Doesn't
does.
she?
Yeah.
But not from Demolition Man though, because she was like a ditz in Demolition Man.
She was still badass though, dude. She
in
was still-
Demolition Man.
Yeah, she was still a good cop.
Yeah, but she was like, I don't know. She was like a bumbling idiot.
I think Sylvester Stallone was kind of the bumbling idiot.
What are the three?
They both
seashells
bumbled.
do?
The three seashells, yeah. He tries to touch her while they're fucking VR.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we don't touch.
Yeah.
How do you do it? The sideways mumbo jumbo? Should I do more accents?
Please.
You know.
Never stop.
You know.
And the entire episode.
You know.
Now you're just sounding like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Anyways, I hated all of your comparisons. I
you.
thought they were terrible. This is some of your worst work yet.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some
like,
of them are good, you idiot. You asshole.
piece of shit.
You son of a bitch.
I hate you.
Wow.
This to me, like, this one really fucking caught me off guard. So I hadn't heard about this. Nobody told me about this. I didn't know how popular this one was until it was already basically the most popular fucking show on Crunchyroll, more or less.
Yeah, this was one of the most anticipated animes.
And apparently
When it
the
came
manga
out.
was very popular.
Yeah.
I have a friend who told me that she read all the manga like a year ago
Mm-hmm.
and like was like surprised it took this long. And I'm like, I didn't even know this was a fucking thing until I started seeing figures popping up on all the stores that I shop for figures on. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, if they're making the little lookup figures, the ones that sit there with the big head and that you can make them look up at you. If they're making the lookup line
Yeah, that's
characters
true.
for a show,
That's true.
This show is fucking taking off.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They don't fuck around with that line for whatever reason. It's only the most popular shows, and I'm like, damn, I need to watch this ASAP.
Okay.
I put this shit on. I have not been into a show like this since fucking, well, I mean, Chainsaw Man, I guess, but like I was more into the manga than the actual anime.
Hype was still there for Chainsaw Man.
You know what? You know what?
too.
Yeah, but you know what it was? I think like since like Jujutsu Kaisen, have I been
Yeah.
like so hype on a show that I knew nothing about?
Yeah. Mhm.
Where the anime was my introduction to it, where I was like, this feels so familiar and so fresh at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I fucking love this show, dude.
Yeah, and
I
Tokyo
love it.
Revengers too was another one you've watched that like you had no
yeah,
idea.
Yeah, but
you got really
actually,
into.
yeah. So maybe it was Toman. Although Toman and Jujutsu Kaisen I got into around the same time.
yeah.
probably. But
Yeah.
either way, Tokyo Revengers or Jujutsu Kaisen. That's the last, and that's high praise to
Yeah.
compare a show to those two shows.
Well, I will say, when you say familiar, that I did kind of feel that it fell in line with a lot of those shows, even Demon
Yeah.
Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Totally.
It's kind of like it's part of the family.
it is.
Yeah,
It has that kind of
100%.
energy.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. I would agree.
You can
'Cause
tell
I remember.
the influence is there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember like seeing all the hype all the way up to the point where it did get released, and I'm like, I've never read the manga, but I've like seen snippets of the manga because it always comes online. But I was like, man, some of the character designs and what you're actually seeing. I mean, like story wise, it's not that out of the ordinary. Like
No, it's
I
just
mean,
like Demolition Man or
Fuck
like
you.
No Escape starring Ray Liotta or like
shut up.
it's nothing new.
No, it's just it's the search for eternal life, right? Like I mean, you
Yeah.
know, the chalice with like King Arthur and all that stuff. But
Kid in King Arthur's Court. It's like all these movies we've seen before.
I'm gonna throw my drink at you. I swear to God, this time I might actually do it.
No, like I see what you mean though. Where like the pompous aristocracy
Yeah.
sends the lowly folk out to collect their prize and do their bidding, fight their war, fight
Yes.
their battle.
Yeah.
That's a
Yes.
tale as old as time.
Totally. Yeah.
But it's the world. The world building is incredible. It's
This fucking island, man.
This island, all like the mix of different religions, a different symbolism, like because you know a lot of these religions have like these crossovers as far as their teachings and very very similar
Their
in a lot of
origins
ways.
even, they're all kind of sprouted from the same roots, a lot
Yeah,
of them.
exactly, right? So having all of that kind of mishmash, like kitchen sink, pish
Yeah.
posh, was really cool to see. Not to
Kind of
mention,
like that show Lost when they're on the island.
okay.
Yeah, Lost totally plays with a lot of religious themes.
Just one, and just at the end.
Yeah.
Like literally the last episode.
Painfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, I like that as well, Mikey. Like how you're saying like that crossover that they're doing. But what I like is that like they're not necessarily just trying to do it in like this really beautiful, graceful way. They're doing it in a really like crude, harsh, slammed together, smushed together, like harshly and like viciously and violently put together kind of like, Frankensteining of religions.
Yeah.
It's violent and scary
and
and horrifying.
I think you're gonna find out, and again, I haven't read the manga, obviously, but I think you're gonna find out that like that's part of the nature of this island. It's inherent in it for it to be that way.
You see
know what I mean?
that
There's
with
a reason.
All the big bads, right? Like they're all like they're experimenting on everybody to try to make everything work, to figure out how to get to that next level of spirituality. I can't remember what it's called for them, but it's not only just that too. The characters are really interesting. I find that the character and the character cast.
I agree, actually. I also want to say, we're getting ahead. We're all mishmash here, but like I also want to say that like
for this
I appreciate
episode.
that there's not like a massive cast of characters. There's a handful, and they're all interesting, but they're like. It started off as if I was like, there's going to be 30 fucking people I'm going to have to keep track of, and they're going to pick them off one by one, and I can't handle it.
The people that they introduce and that they include in given scenes or given situations are just the people that they need to be there. They're not wasting time. They're not throwing people in that are pointless to be in the fucking picture just to give them screen time. If somebody's showing up, if they're changing the scene to somebody else, it's to introduce an important plot line or an important storyline. Maybe that comes in later on, or maybe that has payoff later on. But it makes sense that they spent the time to do that. It's not just fucking gratuitous. It's not just to even things out. There's a point to it all, and it's just really smart and like well fucking written.
Oh yeah,
you know?
100%.
And also just like, well, I mean, we'll get into it a little bit in characters, but just like how fucking refreshing it is to have a fucking main character pro tag that I actually like.
He's interesting. He's an interesting one, man.
Where he like, because constantly, man, the main character is generally like very solidly not my favorite character. But this one, he actually very well might be my favorite character in the show. And that's very rare, I think, in anime nowadays. I'm a side character lover, but I think it like that generally tends to be the case a lot of the time. You know what I mean?
And it's funny too, because he's so complex. There's a lot of layers and a lot of trauma to him, and there's so many unanswered questions to him too that they leave with this season. Right, where you think you know, but maybe you don't.
There's a lot of time he spent as an assassin that you don't know what he was up to. What traumas he encountered, what he did,
or if he was under a genjutsu spell the whole time. Genjutsu is like an illusion spell or like brainwashing, right? Like this whole time, or right, like you don't know. They apply it, but like they can take it away, give it back. I don't know.
There's a lot to build on. Is what you're saying here.
Exactly.
And then a lot of the other characters that you have like have incredibly varied storylines and arcs from that main character. There's no real two storylines in this that feel like one-to-one copies of each other. Everybody's kind of got their own background, which is informing their current choices, the current path they're on, and therefore the arc that they undertake on this show is very different for every character. They're all fighting for different reasons to different ends. They're all willing to die for different reasons and at different points in time. And it's like it's the fucking spice of life, this show. Like there's somebody for everybody, and
this is a fucking good curry.
And most and I think most people,
everything's food for you, eh, Mikey?
Oh yeah, everything.
Most people out there, I think you're gonna like most of the characters.
Well, and they don't fall. And what's really cool too is they don't fall into a lot of the regular tropes either, right? Like so, for example, Ninja Girl. And
you pick the one who I think is the most tropey, but go ahead.
Yes. As far as her appearance and her power,
and
of course,
her attitude,
and
I was going to say as well
with
too.
the little tsundere kind of gender. But she doesn't. But normally they would have written her to be like, hey, you know what? I've developed feelings for this nerdy, bodyguard, and all this stuff. Like the bodyguard got feelings, but she's like, no. It's okay, but I'm not gonna love you. But I have compassion.
Yeah, no,
for you.
she definitely had that cool edge. But at the same time, I'm like, this is just Asuka Langley from Ava, pretty much. Personality-wise.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Even that
like
one.
the arrogance that she has, the cockiness, the fucking independence. Like I don't fucking need you, Shinji.
But she's
she very much treats everybody around her like that.
But she is way more tactful and classy because Asuka is like way more harsh in her language.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
and-
saying, like, I think that like there are tropey characters here, but I don't think that's bad. I don't
No,
think
no.
like that's something that like we need to like, say is a negative.
I'm not saying as a
yeah.
negative. It's just nice to see that there aren't as like heavily handed in a certain ways.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind like that they had those characters. Like I like the mindless monster character who
Yeah.
like you can
The
only
paper
see
on
the
his
one
face,
eye or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking super tropey. The giant the guy who calls himself a dragon. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like he was very tropey in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Even the nerd guy with the glasses. The fucking,
Yeah, it's very tropey.
and also the fucking shark teeth guy with the
All right,
the
fine.
rat
You
tail.
made your damn point.
But I'm just saying, I'm naming all these tropey characters I love.
But they're
man.
Yeah,
using them
fair.
well.
Yeah.
They're using them
they're
well.
using them
That's-
well.
okay,
It's
there you
okay
go.
that they're tropey because
Yeah.
like they actually wrote interesting backstories, and it's just like I'm okay with this is the thing. I like fucking tropes. They make me feel comfortable. They make me feel it's familiarity to me.
Yeah.
It's like a warm fucking blanket. I just want there to be like
Good substance.
something else,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
deeper
Yeah.
beyond said trope.
Yeah.
So
And
you
this
don't
show
want
kept
just a
surpri-
blanket. You want like a duvet
Yeah, sure, layers, right?
Uh,
Layers.
with a duvet cover.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing is this show kept doing that, right? I would almost write characters off initially because my brain just does that based on having watched a lot of anime where I'd be like, that's a one-dimensional character.
Yeah.
I know this arc. I know where this character is going. And then this show would very frequently surprise me and actually subvert my expectations on what I thought characters were going to do or what were going to happen with them. Sometimes it didn't. Sometimes it did pretty much what I thought it was going to do. But then there were other times where I was like, holy fuck, like applauding them for like actually shocking me
Yeah.
in something that could very well just be super formulaic battle anime.
Well, it was like that geisha lady in the beginning, and I thought she was going to be more like Ninja Girl, and that we were going to see more of that trope, but they killed her off like right away.
Yep.
And then we have Ninja Girl, who isn't quite like the geisha girl, right? It's like it's not as heavy-handed, so that's why I really like her. She's just more like tactful. Anyway, regardless, it's a fucking great anime. You guys should be watching this. Holy fuck.
Yeah, one
Yes.
season out,
Yeah.
13 episodes, very highly recommended. Just came out this year, so it's on
Yes.
Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
Tell
and-
them more. Senpai's Corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah,
So, Hell's Paradise, or Jigoku Raku, is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Yuji Kaku. It was serialized weekly for free on Shueisha's Shonen Jump Plus application and website from January 2018 to January 2021, with its chapters collected in 13 tankobon volumes. So fairly standard length for
Yep.
manga. Set in the Edo period of Japan, it follows the ninja Gabimaru and the executioner Yamada Asemon Sagiri as they search for the elixir of immortality. Viz Media has licensed the series for English release in North America. And the anime television series, of course, was produced by the Legends, MAPPA, and aired from April to July of this year, 2023. And a second season has been announced. Which is obviously incredibly exciting because this one leaves you on quite the
Massive.
fucking hanger.
Yeah.
And quite a good one, if I may say so myself.
And great action. Really good action.
Absolutely. Yeah, so basically Yuji Kaku originated this whole thing under this idea that he wanted to have like several pairs of people whose interests were not aligned being thrown into an enclosed space and forced to work together.
Yeah.
Like that was like the root of what he wanted.
Yeah.
Was pair people off
Yeah.
with completely different motivations.
Yeah.
And now force them to work together in the most claustrophobic environment you
Yeah.
can create.
Like Demolition Man
just
or
watch what happens.
1994's No Escape starring Ray Liotta.
So check this out. So the story was initially about children sent to a youth detention center
Oh, wow.
and the lawyers fighting for them.
That sounds
like,
like Promise Neverland, but not.
What's the movie Bloodsport?
Bloodsport?
Was that about
Bloodsport?
kids who
No.
get sent?
No, that's
Oh,
fucking
Battle
Van
Royale.
Damme.
Battle Royale.
Yeah, Battle Royale. That was a
Um,
great movie.
So,
Yeah.
but through discussions with his editor, the setting was dropped and they added different characters to the same framework, which was kept because Kaku always really liked the way human relationships change and wanted to write all about that. So then he felt that a Shinsenkyo setting would work That being like this like mystical like afterlife and like yeah, it would work with any type of story and would be easy to write. And he thought it'd be more interesting if a character who isn't supposed to die finds themselves in like a near-death situation. These were all like, different ideas he wanted to play with. So
I mean,
it's really
that also,
wild the fucking evolution this story took.
It's pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, going from like juveniles with lawyers to this.
Yeah.
And not to mention, like, putting them in this kind of setting gives them a lot more freedom to, like, do other things, right? Like, especially any kind of fantasy.
Yeah.
We know how much you love magic, Jordy.
Yeah. I love it. But to be fair, though, like, there's a framework for it here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, highly recommend. I don't apparently. I do recommend people check out the manga because it's been highly recommended to me by other people I trust. And also, it's really just well known, and this speaks to kind of what we're talking about now. That like, Kaku has created like deep, rich character backgrounds for pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Regardless of how big a role they were planning on, including them in the story.
There's story there.
Everybody has had their background filled out, so like he's got that on deck, and like and that care has been given to literally all of the main characters.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think it shows. I think it shines through, and like when he needs to call on it, like it doesn't feel contrived. I believe all of these characters. I believe their stories. I believe their actions, their choices that they make. Some of them are surprising choices because they come at surprising times or under surprising circumstances.
Yeah, but they track.
But
They
that's
track,
also
exactly.
and that's also their way of him doing his character development too, right?
Yeah, of course.
But having that, like that's why he's kind of brilliant in that way, right? You kind of have it all fleshed out, and you give it to everybody, so you can just reference it back and be like, oh, no, this all makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm sure in the manga, I would assume there's a lot more of that given to you as opposed to just fleshed out and sitting in the background.
Sure, we're gonna see that season 2, man.
Yeah, totally.
Right? The story continues, and it's gonna keep following the manga.
Yeah.
So.
Because this is my issue with a lot of other shonen, and I'm sure with you too, Jordy.
Why'd you say my name like that?
Because
You
know,
too, Jordy.
Yeah, because Jordy normally has issues with shonen.
Piece of fucking shit.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't go that far this time. I'm normally the one that
the
goes
way
that
you
far.
said
Yeah, yeah. It's what you didn't say, Mikey.
Okay. But like it feels like a lot of shonen, for example, like especially isekai, they don't flesh out their background at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just, hey, dude gets truck-kunned to another world, and then this guy's OP, right? There's nothing more in depth to that character, right? And then, if the anime's good or the writer's good, then they'll be able to give you a little bit more of that, or like give you good character development. But having this degree of, backstory, and it's not just character, like backstory, it's like personality, trauma, experience,
and not to mention it's all kind of also rooted in like historical like mysticism and lore too, right? Like he's a shinobi, which is like a whole thing that there's like a myriad of research you can do and learn about that, and it's all like embedded in him as a character.
I fucking love mythology, so like having to see like especially Japanese mythology is like really, really cool.
Sick. All right, well, do we want to talk about Paradise?
Yes.
The world?
The world?
Because you mentioned it's Edo period Japan. There's not a lot outside of the realm on the mainland, let's call it, going on. But like when you get to the island, it's a whole different fucking world.
Yeah, because it's like it's almost kind of like an isekai because you're being boated off to this island, but it's still in the main world, and it's just fucking wild.
Yeah.
Just wild.
Maybe they never explained this, and maybe this is not for me to know yet, but like, is it the afterlife? Or is it just an island where these like godly spirits have like
we don't know
taken
for sure yet.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it has like kind of Mount Olympus energy, where it's like this is the gods' playground, where they hang out, they live there, they have their own interpersonal drama going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They watch humanity from there.
Yeah, it definitely has that feel because they have to go through. If I remember correctly, when they got boated in there, they had to go through a fog, right? And then
it's like hidden.
Yeah, it's like So that kind of gives it like that teleportation feel. And you do have these guys, the big bads, that all fucking are gods essentially, right?
Yeah, they call themselves something.
They definitely would like to think of it that way.
Yeah.
And like I think like Jordy, like you were saying, like the gods' playground. That's what they're trying to create it
Yeah.
into, right? They view themselves that way. You find out obviously late in the series that like there's a little bit more of like a personal human motivation behind this island's existence.
A lot of it is greed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Greed, knowledge.
And it just happens to be manifesting in this very spiritual, otherworldly, religious-based way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, but it's like it all comes down to just this hunt for like the elixir, and then just this hunt for power, and and you know it ultimately always boils down to just human motivations and human fallibility, right?
Yeah.
But the Tensens, the big bad, they're the ones that like are high on themselves, right? They're the ones that
Totally.
are just fucking and killing all day.
Yeah.
And,
It's a good time, if you
and
ask me.
living, but they're living that god life.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. Yeah.
And it's a facade, though.
Yeah.
It's not what they think it is.
Right.
No,
Right?
yeah, because they're not immortal. That's the thing, right?
They're instruments
Yeah.
for the bigger.
Yeah, which we don't know quite yet exactly what that is, but like, you know, they have the ability to shift between genders or even be non-binary, and like, which is also really cool in its own writing too, because you don't see that a lot. But yeah, it's just it's this weird way of trying to show your audience what yin and yang really is and how destructive it can be in some weird ways. Because normally yin and yang is very like represented as balance, right? But in here, it's not. It's just power,
Yeah.
right? So it's interesting. Yeah. The other interesting thing too, the Tensins also subscribed and liked us.
You picked a lane.
Yeah, I picked the lane the other day.
Oh, they also did.
They also did.
They did.
Oh, this
They
character?
did. Yeah, this character.
They subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys should also like and subscribe.
Yeah.
It's the current style.
Yeah. You know, if you
They
want to
fuck
be
all day.
in,
They
you-
kill
yeah.
all day, and they subscribe to Anime Shmanime.
Exactly. Right? And wherever you get your podcast, give us a good rating.
Yeah.
Leave us a good review. We love you.
We do.
And remember, the Tensins have also done it.
Don't forget that.
Yeah. Gabimaru also.
Him as well.
Yeah,
he
him
as
as
well did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Don't forget, yeah. He usually watches us on YouTube, and then what's the other girl's name? Anyway, the other girl listens to us on Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
So remember,
forget.
don't forget.
Yeah.
I'm fucking dead. He as well.
He as well.
Yeah. All right. Let's spend the next hour, I guess, talking about how good the fucking art is.
Oh, dude.
'Cause
Phenomenal.
It's primo,
Yeah.
man, and also like original. Like again, the way they make everything kind of flowery and bloomy is incredible. It's
Gorgeous.
It looks amazing. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, Mappa, it's Mappa. We all know
Yeah.
Mappa does great work. And, you know, it's funny, too. You know when, like, the keyframes and where they put more of their money in, right? But it's also just, again, the design of everything. I have never seen, like, you know, fish head humans that are all purple or, like, blue with, like, Buddhist beads just walking around trying to eat you.
Yeah, I tend to think a lot of like monster designs or whatever in animes are kind of wacky. But these ones I found are like a little more serious feeling, and I was like, yeah, vibing with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's
there's-
very Frankenstein-y, like Jay said, right?
Yeah, for me, like, there's a lot of aspects that felt very like Lovecraftian,
Yeah,
very cosmic horror.
human faces on bugs, like
Yeah,
you know what I
which
mean?
like ties in like you were saying about like Annihilation as well, because that
Yeah.
obviously really plays with that kind of imagery.
yeah,
and, like,
and the blooming and the flowers and the
Absolutely.
plant life and whatnot.
Absolutely right. So and then obviously just like the monster form that the Tensens are able to take when they
Yeah.
fully transform into like their full beast,
Super
like kaiju
interesting.
mode basically.
Yeah.
Like that's incredibly cosmic horror, Lovecraftian shit going
Yeah.
on there.
But
that's,
not
like,
only just cosmic
cool
horror, but
as
like
fuck.
it's very plant based too.
Yeah,
right?
of
like
course, everything
flowery.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
The
like
whole
so,
island.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The whole island is floral vibe, which
Yeah.
is so cool.
No, but
Plant based, like
yeah.
Beyond Meat burgers and shit.
Dude, I fucking love plant-based shit.
But specifically the Tensins, because they have the more flowery transformations.
Yeah.
Everyone else is way more crude. I don't think any of them is either not an insect or some sort of humanoid animal.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Tensins are the only ones that are flowery when
But
they
when
transform.
people die and like
Oh, yeah.
They turn into
They turn
flowery
into
zombies,
full-blown
corpses.
flower
Yeah.
corpses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Um,
Also, hail our Lord and Savior Cthulhu.
I do not subscribe to anything Lovecraftian because he was a massive racist.
Oh, was he?
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Mikey, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
So
Really?
I'll give you the chance to
Oh
retract
my
that.
God. Fuck.
Yeah, wait till you find out what he named his cat.
Oh, motherfucker. Well,
That was it.
That was
Hold
that's
on.
the worst, man. That is honestly the worst. It was like when I found out like the dude from Ender's Game
Oh, yeah,
was
he's racist
was a
too.
racist
That was
too.
his cat's name.
Are you kidding me?
No.
No.
Say it, Mikey, so I know.
No.
There's no way I'm gonna say this. I'll say that it starts with an N and then ends with man.
Interesting.
Like what the fuck?
Interesting.
Anyways.
Man, oh, that just ruins my entire vision of Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It does for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, that fucking sucks, man.
But anyways,
Anyway,
the vibe
well,
is still
fuck that
there.
guy.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Cthulhu.
And
Yeah, what a piece
yeah,
of shit.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit.
We hate him.
but I loved the monster designs in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And they had this way of like kind of once the transformation fully happened, they'd always kind of get this like one like kind of glory shot
Yeah.
where it was fully transformed. The camera would kind of zoom back and you'd just get like a full
Yeah.
framed shot of this design. And it's almost like they took the concept art that the artist drew and just fucking transplanted it.
Yeah.
It's like highly detailed. It's like top keyframe shit. And yeah, for like monster kaiju enthusiasts, fans out there, you're gonna fucking love it. And it was such a cool thing because it doesn't even come in until late in this in the
Yeah.
season.
Very late. You don't even meet the tents until like more than halfway through, I want to say.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was very cool for like this show to just continuously be
Build and
twisting
build
and,
and build.
turning and building and like whoa,
And the
every episode
and the
I
visuals
couldn't
to
wait.
parallel that too.
It
Yeah.
kept up.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing too is like those keyframes, like for example, when people would come back and they were converted into like flowers, they would do those in keyframes of the
Yeah.
people in the boats.
That
And
was really cool.
holy
yeah.
fuck! I've
The
never
first
seen
one?
flowers so beautifully drawn in my life. You know,
Next to rotted teeth and
right? It's such a
Yeah.
morbid
poked out
image,
eyes, yeah,
but it
yeah.
was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And this whole series really plays obviously with balance and yin and yang
Yep.
and the flow of the universe and all of that. And for them to be visually playing with beauty and the macabre in the way that they
Oh,
do.
yeah. I love that.
It's incredible. So like the art of the show itself is so perfectly mirroring the subject matter of the manga and of the story that they're telling, and it just works in perfect harmony. It's
Yeah.
like I cannot fault this show. I have zero bad things to say about
Yeah.
this show.
Would it be wrong of me to say that it has a bit of like season 1 Attack on Titan vibes, like as far as like they're killing off all these people right away? You think that it's gonna
Yeah,
be
I got some Attack on Titan vibes because they're
Yeah.
small and they're killing these giant lumbering creatures that they don't know what they
Yeah.
are.
I
and
would
there's all
include
this
Attack on
mystery.
Titan in that family of anime I mentioned earlier. It's all
Yeah.
that. It's like there's like a new modern style that all these animes are.
It's modern shonen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
modern shonen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most modern shonen nowadays is usually
They're
boy-
huge epics, massive
Yeah.
casts. Like
Yeah, it's usually
Yeah.
boy gets monster power to fight monsters. That's most shonen now. Like
Oh,
Attack
you
on
ruined it.
Titan.
You ruined it.
Well, that's what it is.
You just boiled it down to like a little nothing that sucks now.
What are you talking about?
It
doesn't suck.
There's been definitely a formula of like this threat,
Yeah.
is threatening.
Yeah.
Threats be threatening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, by some circumstance, our main character gets the power to either fight said threat or become said threat
Yeah.
to fight said threat. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's like Fire Force and fucking
And
Attack on Titan and all these different
Man.
things.
Jujutsu
Chainsaw Man,
Kaisen.
yeah, right? Like
JJK, yeah.
Tokyo Ghoul did it.
Yeah.
Like how do I harness the power of the thing I'm trying to kill
Yeah.
said thing, right? And
Hmm.
it is definitely repeated, but like the brilliance in that is is how they're able to still keep that feeling fresh and interesting after having done it now for 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's incredible. And I think it's the stakes are so high for shonen anime. Like the pressure's on because everybody knows how big it could possibly get. So the expectations are incredibly high automatically. For
sure.
You also know you're probably going to get a fuckload of budget. So you're not going to be able to blame the lack of budget, right? So if you don't make your fucking super marketable, vaguely feudal Japan shonen anime work
Yeah.
Yeah.
with all the budget, all of this expectation, and
Yeah.
all of this, previous,
push or for marketing
all these
and
previous
that stuff.
shows
Yeah.
that have existed to put this on a pedestal. If you fail now,
You really suck.
you really fucking suck real bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you
Right?
get canceled immediately. That's why you have so many anime that don't get a second season. And if you're just a strictly anime watcher, you'll never have that resolution, right? That's the one big problem about being a strict anime watcher.
But I think it puts pressure on mangakas to write well,
yeah.
and creatively, and to subvert, and to use their influences properly and in a smart way. And you
And,
know,
and to think of the adaptation
Yeah.
as they're writing, right? Yeah.
well, or not, you know what I mean, or just stay true to what you want. Like sometimes you have no fucking involvement. Like you look at Akutami with Jujutsu Kaisen, dude's got absolutely no involvement whatsoever in the anime. Like he just sits back and watches like all of us and hopes that they do well with what he wrote and
Yeah.
what he drew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's somebody right there as a perfect example. You know, it's kind of poignant here because a lot of the influences are going to be the same, where like everybody knows that like Akutami was just like recycling a lot of like Bleach and Evangelion and all of these different things for Jujutsu Kaisen. The influences were like very apparent and out there, but nobody faulted him for it because
He
the
did a good job.
way that he utilized those influences was smart. It was respectful of the source material, but fresh and different enough that made it feel interesting.
Yeah.
For example, like all of the religious tones in something like Evangelion, right, are very like Christian religious
Yes,
tones,
right.
very
Heavily.
biblical Catholic
Heavily.
kind of tones, right? So
Well, until the end, it got really weird.
But so Jujutsu Kaisen, he wants to take that influence, and he really likes the idea of playing with these religious themes, and likes how much that raises the stakes.
Yeah.
But to try and make it stand out a little bit more compared to something like Neon Genesis, goes the Buddhist route.
Yes.
So that's why you're getting all these heavy Buddhist themes and names and
Yeah.
sayings and
Yeah.
speeches and characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, right? So like, but that it gives you just enough of a feeling of something like Eva, without feeling like just a lift of Ava.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel
There's
the
so
same
much
thing here.
out there that has like ripped off Ava.
But like all
I've heard you guys say that a million times.
I know we got to make you watch it, like for real.
To me, all the good modern shonen is stuff that is willing to acknowledge and pay tribute to the past shows, but does so in a way that doesn't get in the way of telling something fresh and new and interesting.
Yeah.
And if you can find that balance, the way that something like Jujutsu Kaisen has or Demon Slayer has, we
Yeah.
always talk about Demon Slayer being a love letter to classic shonen.
Yes.
Sure.
But why is it not stale?
Yeah.
Because of all the little choices they make
Yeah.
to make it stand. And you just have
the
to do that.
freshness,
You can't.
and the action.
You cannot get you can't get away with being lazy with shonen because the expectations are just too fucking high.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can put out some lazy fucking prison school fucking etchy shit.
Yeah.
And
Fuck you! Fuck you!
and it'll float by on the
Fuck
titties
you!
alone.
Yeah.
It'll float by
Yes.
on the titties alone.
Yeah.
You cannot
Yes.
put out a high-end shonen anime and expect
It to float.
it to
Yeah.
float without
Yeah.
doing something
I do agree there.
a little different.
I do. It's also too like with My Hero Academia, right? You don't get a lot of superhero anime, right? Like usually anything superhero based is either mecha or like Power Rangers esque, like Super Sentai kind of stuff, but specifically like superheroes, because this is all like My Hero Academia was all based off of like Marvel, like you know Deku is pretty much based off of Spider-Man. So just being able to do that freshly with a shonen storyline, just like Jay is saying, it's the only way things work. It's the
Yeah.
only way things pop off.
Gotta stay fresh.
My,
Gotta stay
my,
fresh.
my hero is just a battle shonen set in a high school, like 8,000 other anime that
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
What did they do to stand out? They drew Western comic book influences instead of just more anime influences.
At the end of the
Yeah.
day, they just made some choices that were fresh.
While
Yeah.
still tributing the
Yeah.
stuff that makes
Yeah,
the
yeah,
genre
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
They didn't completely try to subvert.
Yeah.
Right.
They just subverted in smart ways where they could. So it feels nice and warm and familiar,
Yeah.
but also fresh.
Brand new and
Yeah.
exciting.
And that's
yeah.
that's Jujutsu Kaisen, that was Tokyo Revengers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
all the best shows of the past little while for me, at
Yeah.
least. For sure.
Well, I mean, those are also all the best shows that have just been popular these days.
Yeah, because
too,
I have
right?
fucking amazing taste.
Yeah. So good.
Fine. I know, Jay. You're not a glutton like I am. I fucking love everything and I consume everything. You can have your fucking taste,
I will.
and I will enjoy everything else.
Let's talk about characters, maybe.
characters,
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually I know I said earlier that I found that there weren't a lot of characters, but like there are a lot of fucking characters. I don't know how many of them we need to talk about up top, but like 2 for sure.
I know there's
At
like I
least.
think there's 6 really that is the core group.
Well,
I feel like
you end up in a little team partway
Yeah.
through. But
team
anyway,
also splits up.
yeah, it's weird like that, right? But like, anyways,
I think you're
there's
both wrong. I think there's a lot of characters that need to be talked about, and they all deserve time. But anyways, go on.
Okay. Well, let's.
Wait. Like, I mean, we're talking about like the protag side, not the antag side, because the antag side has a lot of characters that we could talk about.
I think
Also-
a lot of the characters kind of fall into groups.
yeah, it's like
in a lot of
almost like
ways.
subcategories of.
Yeah, it's
characters.
complicated, and we don't have that much time. I think is the other thing.
For
too,
sure.
right? So-
I'm just saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
They all deserve it. They're
Okay,
not gonna
sure,
all
sure,
get
sure,
it,
sure, 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 sure.
but they all deserve.
Sure. They'll all
talk.
get little blurbs as we get through them improv.
They could all be spoken about.
Okay, listen.
Listen.
Let's start at the top. Gabimaru.
Yeah.
So we know his like parents were slaughtered as a baby, and he's raised as a shinobi, which, if I'm wrong, is like kind of like a spiritual or like supernatural kind of samurai situation.
Shinobi's a ninja.
A ninja?
Ninja.
Okay.
But this is
But
not
there's
like
a type.
your-
There's like a mysticism involved in a shinobi versus a regular ninja. Is that
In
a
this
thing?
world.
in this world,
Is
yeah.
that-
like-
I don't know.
So if we're talking
Okay.
historically,
Yeah.
shinobis are just like farmers and like skilled people. Like they wear regular
Yeah.
clothes to be spies, right?
Okay.
Or they'll wear like a small like blue outfit to
Okay.
blend in at night.
Yeah.
But here they like, Gabimaru is fucking throwing flames and shit.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
he's a different kind of shinobi.
Well, they explain that survivors of like shinobi training in this world achieve what they call supernatural bodies. So like
Yes.
he's got some sort of like
Yes.
abilities that he wouldn't
Yep.
otherwise have. They nickname him the Hollow
Yeah.
because they catch him like not bleeding or ever crying, regardless of what went down in his life. So he's hollow, empty inside.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, even when he kills and stuff like that, he just doesn't feel any real emotion. He's just
Yeah.
doing the job, and but when he does it, it's so vicious.
Yeah.
Right. Like people can't see him as anything else. Like I
Yeah.
guess as like a demon, like a hollow demon, right?
For sure. And ironic though that like it's a self-inflicted hollowness because all it takes is a genuine human connection with a human being who like seems to care about him for him to start feeling feelings again.
Well,
You know what I mean?
And this is why I say the writing's really great in here.
Yeah.
And the character writing is really great because you have this guy who has to go through all this crazy shit to do his job, which is already fucked up.
Yeah.
He's hollow because he disassociates.
Yeah.
Right. Because of all that trauma, probably the only way to protect himself.
Yeah.
And then the only way to actually become more human again is to interact and try to actually engage with those human emotions.
Yeah.
Right. And which makes him entirely way more complex than a lot of characters.
And in doing so, he's like getting back in touch with the things that hurt him in the first place.
Yes.
And going back and like doing the internal work, which again is like the cornerstone of character development is doing the work, right?
It's an actual arc.
yeah.
yeah.
Very refreshing.
Yeah.
Good on you. You know what you do. I know exactly what you're referencing. Shut the fuck up, both of you. But
I'm
will
referencing most other anime.
Yeah,
Okay,
a lot
that's
of the other things.
Okay, fine.
yeah.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Because we just came off a fucking prison.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's true.
I also think it's kind of funny that his like catchphrase is "What a pain" in the dub. I watched the dub. I don't care.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
things annoy him, like big, huge things that are like a big deal. He's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
That's
just
his
so
energy.
dejected.
Yeah, fine. What an annoyance.
Yeah.
And I also found that his like fight style was interesting. It's like classic kind of ninja-y stuff mixed with like his abilities and his magic.
Yeah.
And like you talk about choices made to make something unique. Like his fire is magenta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a choice like that just makes it completely unique.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because in Demon Slayer, okay, it's water and fire, it's blue and it's
Yeah.
red, and his is just a different color.
Yeah, it's like a pink orange swirl that
Yeah.
just like is like prismatic.
But
and
it's
it,
also like outside of the color palette of the rest of the show.
absolutely
Completely different.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Anytime you make fire a different color, like green, purple, even not even blue, because blues you kind of see blue in a lot of flames, but like it has like almost a distinctive like it's fire with like poison or fire with like I don't know toxic or fire with acid,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
I always equate that when if it's, a
It's something
different
else.
Kind of,
It's something more.
Also,
Yeah.
like Mappa as well, like just constantly doing action so fucking incredibly, like
Yeah.
they do with Jujutsu Kaisen. You know, this brought back a lot of that with like the fight sequences and like specifically with Gabimaru, like not giving him a weapon to use specifically,
Yeah,
or to
that was
give
a
him
good
like
choice.
a projectile. He's so like fucking tactile with his hands and
Yeah.
like so impactful that like I feel like every move he makes and every like visceral thing he does to somebody,
Yeah.
it feels so like more.
Black Flash.
It feels so more like fucking violent and
Yeah.
so much more. I don't know, man. Like it's just very satisfying to watch him fuck up his enemies.
Well, it's more hand to hand. It's more
Yeah.
traditional
Yeah,
fight
absolutely.
style. In a
way more
genre where
brutal.
things go up and up and up and more and more and more, they made again a choice
Yeah.
to pull back a little bit on that.
Yeah.
and it's super effective.
He's in your face, right? His
Yeah.
whole fighting style. He's like, I'm gonna get in close and do some really fucking crazy shit to
yeah,
you.
yeah.
You know, and then they even do some like not just some cool stuff with the fire while he's fighting, but like, you know, there's a few moments where he'll like, you know, you don't think he's done much with the fire. He'll hop away, and then 2 seconds later, the fucking thing just explodes with
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah,
And it's like they were really playing with like that. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
fucking brilliant.
Planting,
man. I just loved it.
explosions,
It
yeah.
was so sick with him.
Good times.
He's such a good fucking character.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Sandra Bullock.
Sagiri Bullock.
Yeah,
Sagiri Bullock,
So
yeah.
she, I found her to be kind of tropey. I know, like, to be honest with you, I actually think it's her show more so than it's his show.
I think they were
little bit.
trying to do that.
Yeah.
I think, and it felt a little heavy-handed. There's a lot of the like, oh, she's just a woman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Which is like, don't get me wrong, I'm down for someone like breaking
Proving
through that
yeah.
and proving themselves. But
Especially in this particular like time where patriarchy
but
is
it was
like,
a little painfully obvious in her storyline.
I would argue that just a little bit in that like you're saying like oh there's that like oh she's just a woman. I thought they did a pretty good job at making it more so like oh she's just an executioner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, she can only fucking swing her sword in this perfectly sterile,
Yeah.
still
Still
environment.
There
was some of
that
that
has
too.
no real value outside of the fucking Shogun's fucking
Yeah.
chambers,
execution,
you know?
yeah.
And like that's why she had the feelings of
Yeah.
inferiority and insecurity. It had nothing to do necessarily with her gender.
It did at some points
yeah,
quite
it did.
quite clearly.
Yeah, because she
But
also
maybe not as much because
yeah.
there was that as well too.
Yeah.
without a doubt. And there's also like because of who her father was.
Yes.
there's expectations on her
Yeah.
that she has
That
to
is,
also
you're
live
right.
up to.
That is true. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the parent thing.
Yeah.
It just felt a bit heavy-handed for me. Just the fact that she has all these expectations, she's just gonna have to slowly meet and exceed. Like I was like, you're laying out her path very clearly for me.
Yeah, well, her
know what I mean?
expectation
Yeah.
was originally to just be married off, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She chose to become an executioner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So again, it's that. It's
And
that
there are
whole-
only 2 female executioners. Like I know like there's
Yeah.
like they work that into the plot. I know that's part of it. I just the fact that like that's not her like sole motivation or her sole, you know, challenge to overcome.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not just her overcoming the gender disparity.
No,
There's
you're right.
more to her character than
Yeah.
just that.
And there's also
You know?
there's also a lot of internal struggle that nobody else knows about.
Yeah.
That you find out about through her internal monologue about like again mostly about her living up to her father's expectations and how he had killed and how he had taught her how he kills.
Yeah.
And how she's like I got to figure that out because it's all worked into the way people transition to the afterlife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How her father was able to kill them to a point where their spirit doesn't even know or feel pain.
Right.
Yeah.
And every time she kills someone, you see like a flash of this spirit in agony.
Yeah.
And she caused that. And she's like, I got to not do that. And so they're just really like piling on like growth options for her.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? She's going to make.
Character.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
She's not just a trope or a device or a mechanism for
Yeah.
them to say, hey,
Yeah.
you know, gender disparity.
Yeah.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I did like
Yeah.
undercut that one a little bit. A little bit.
Grossly generalized.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying it's not there. I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's
It's
nice
there.
when it's not just that.
I think really what I was trying to say
Jordy's
is
a
not that that
misogynist.
was heavy-handed,
I'm just kidding.
but that
I'm just kidding.
they were the piling on of all those things
Yeah.
was a little heavy-handed for one character.
Yeah.
I'm like, let that play out slow, maybe. You know what I mean? Instead, they're just like, here's the 5 things that she struggles with, and she's going to be working through them.
I
You
don't
what
know.
mean?
I feel like it was fine. I don't feel like it was overly like. I don't think they gave you too much. Normally they would give you too much, and I think for her because we're still so early in her story, right? And she's only just realizing that oh, you know what? Maybe I'm not supposed to cut like my father.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm not my father, and people are telling you're not your dad, and
Yeah.
like she's realizing you can't be like other people, and then
She's
maybe,
going to, though. She's going to figure out that skill.
No,
You know
I
it.
don't think so. Because
100% she's going to figure
no,
out that skill.
man.
Like,
Because here's the other thing. So there's that one realization she makes where she's watching Gabimaru, and Gabimaru is just walking around, just being bogged down by the spirits.
Yeah.
Right, and he just lives with it.
Yeah.
It's about her living with all the spirits that are supposed to be bogging her down as an executioner.
I think that their juxtaposition in that, though, is actually like part of the cornerstone of this show. I think the way that he just kills and accepts it and just takes it on and takes it on and takes on the weight, and the fact that she's constantly trying to get rid of it, I think they're going to have to find some middle ground there.
So they're trying to find balance, like yin and yang.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty obvious that like their catharsis that they're seeking
It's intertwined.
will be found with each other.
Yeah, without a
through
doubt.
each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are they gonna get together? You guys
No, I don't think so.
I do not
because-
ship them. Absolutely
No,
not.
I don't ship them either.
No.
But that is one thing I will be really disappointed if this goes that way.
Yeah.
If they do end up getting shipped together.
Well,
If they
and here's
write
the
it
thing.
well,
Here's the
I'll
thing.
believe it, but I have
Yeah.
no reason at this point in the story to believe that whatsoever.
And as much as I don't want to ship it, I ship him with his wife, man.
Yeah,
Same.
I do too.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. It just
Yeah.
feels natural. It feels authentic. It
Yeah.
feels genuine.
Her
that-
story was really sweet too.
He's going to find his way back to her. That's
Yeah.
how it ends.
Yeah.
Talk about like a show being fucking good when they can make you care about a character that you never actually
met.
see
Yeah.
in
or
the
met,
story,
yeah.
only through flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you don't even actually know if she exists or not.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. I guess they try to be like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
maybe she doesn't.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's the thing, right? Like they're trying to red herring you
Yeah.
at a little bit
A
at
little
the end.
bit,
At
yeah.
the end there, right? So.
But I don't think that's actually.
Yeah.
yeah. But we'll get to that.
yeah.
Do you guys want to pick characters to talk about? Because again, there's so many.
We can go
most
through
of
it
my
in
notes
story.
were about those two.
Let's go through it in
Yeah.
story.
Okay,
When we
okay,
get
yeah.
introduced to people, we can talk about them then briefly.
Okay.
If we feel the need.
Sure.
Yeah.
Please forgive me when there are holes in my explanation and I've missed things and forgotten things. There's a lot going
It's
on
okay,
in the
man.
show.
Yeah, it tracks.
Okay.
It tracks.
Yeah.
There is a lot going on in the show.
I am my own trope at this point.
There is a
Yeah,
lot going on in the
yeah.
show, dude.
Okay, so
I mean, I think we all are at this point.
it opens up on a like full-on kind of samurai scene, and this is again, I'm going into a show blind, knowing nothing about this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
are these guys killing me with some samurai shit again? Come on. It's not the case, okay? But we find out Gabimaru, he's like was out there like being an assassin or whatever. He had gotten caught and sentenced to death, and they're gonna try and behead him, and it just doesn't work. The sword just breaks on his neck, which is like, wait, what? And then he starts talking. He's like, I just can't die, or maybe won't die. So I'm like, okay, there's something going on here. We know he's not able to die. We just don't know why. Hence the mystery they're building, right?
Yeah.
They try all sorts of different ways. They bury him alive. They're like pulling him apart by bulls. They're like trying to kill him with hot oil, and he's just like chilling.
Yeah, he's just like, it's a nuisance.
It's a nuisance
at this point,
yeah,
guys.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
Then we get this like super pragmatic and gentle interrogation throughout all these murder attempts by Sandra Bullock herself. She's like interviewing him, trying to ask him all these questions, and then we find out she's an executioner, and actually the reason she's interviewing him because she's finding out the way to kill him, right? And that's what she's trying to do. And he's saying, "I want to die," and she's like, "Great, I can kill you. I can do it." And he goes to do it. She goes to do it, and he just like instinctively evades it. And he's like, "No, you don't understand. I can't die." It's not gonna happen, no matter how good you are at it. You know what I mean? Like maybe your sword won't break on my neck, but like you're not gonna get me.
Yeah.
And then we get the backstory where he finds out that like he actually loves his wife, despite she's got a burn on her face, as if this is really like a good reason to fall out of love. They kind of build it up like as if that's the reason why he's struggling with loving his wife.
Well, I think they may be
Yeah.
trying to establish like that period of time is
Yeah.
very harsh and very
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe it would be expected of him,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
So
Yeah, like that all gets fleshed out a little bit later.
It does,
right?
yeah.
you don't get a pat on the back in 2023 for that, but
Yeah.
like maybe in
In
Edo
Edo,
period,
Japan, yeah.
you get a pat on the back for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, you left your burned wife? Good job.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
You've reached the minimum bar,
Yeah.
the lowest bar that was ever possible.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyways, we find out that that's not even the case. She's just so damn wholesome. And of course, he's in love with her. And he actually tried to leave with her and live a normal life because they were like more or less indentured servants to her father, right? And her father's a fucking psycho.
Yes.
So anyways,
Very cool looking character.
Sandra Bullock can't kill him. And she's like, okay, fine. Well, like instead of an execution, I can actually offer you a full pardon. But in order to be completely
catch.
pardoned, you have to go to the underworld, which, by the way, we just found. And since we found it, only like flowered corpses have returned.
Yes.
And now we're hiring all these criminals who are, you know, for lack of a better term, expendable. And by the way, your wife is completely waiting for you. She knows that you can be pardoned and you can go back to her when it's all said and done. And he's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Then we get a bit of her backstory. Again, we find out her dad was like this crazy samurai executioner, and he had this ability to like painlessly behead people to the point where their transition into the afterlife was like kind of peaceful, even though they were like criminals who were, I guess, deserved to die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in Edo period or
Yeah.
feudal Japan, right? But it's like the Japanese, like the samurais, and we've talked about this before in other ones where, you know, and just Japanese culture, like discipline is such a huge part of their culture where
Yeah.
being able to be a master of something and
Totally.
going to that next level, right? You can't just be good at swinging a sword.
Yep.
Now, so you're good at swinging a sword. What's the next level? Okay, well, you got to cut off their head without hurting their soul.
Yeah.
Like, that's some next
Yeah.
level shit, right?
Sorry, I have to what?
Yeah. Right? Like that's it. Like,
Yeah.
people believe in that.
And that's, I think, the root of the issue she's having is like she feels like she should be able to do it. And it turns out she's like experiencing a bunch of fear, and her fear is like, and her insecurities
yeah.
exactly are keeping her from being able to do it. She even says, she's like, I'm never completely calm in the moment. You know what I mean? She's like, I'm always feeling some feelings. So, you know, she's got her work cut out for her.
Yeah. Which is natural. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm about to take a life. I should probably feel something.
Yeah. Or, you know, be the person who feels
That's the
nothing.
thing. Yeah, that's the other thing too,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
neither of those people are going to achieve the painless death thing.
you
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one person's probably gonna have an easier time doing the act,
Yeah.
but
One person's going to have better sleep that night.
yeah.
Okay, so now we have all these
That's me.
criminals.
I'm just kidding.
You're not wrong, though.
I'm not wrong.
So we have all these criminals gathered on the beach, basically, and they get told they have to find this fabled elixir of life that apparently they're all convinced exists on the island.
Well, Gabimaru especially because there's that one scene where he sees his master, or the clan master, right? Like, or
That's
his
right.
wife's father, like, have a blade in his head, and he watches,
Yeah.
all this.
That's
Like,
right.
He survives. Yeah, he's like
survives, yeah.
seemingly immortal.
Yeah.
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 So he's more convinced, right? And so we find out here's the rules. Basically, each criminal is going to get a monitor, and anyone who quits and anyone who's like a weak loser, you're going to get beheaded.
Yep.
Also, you all have to fight to the death right now because we're not taking you all. Also, your hands are all going to stay bound,
Yep.
and that's the only way you're going to get a spot.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, there's only a pardon for one criminal.
Yeah.
Right?
At
That's
the
why
end
they
of the
go-
day,
yeah.
there's only a pardon for one, but they're like, also, there's like 30 of you, and we're not going to bring 30 of you to the island.
Yeah.
Some of you are just going to die right here.
Yeah. Oh, that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the beginning. Yeah.
And I'm like, actually, it's kind of a cool way to introduce me to a bunch of key players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just this one, like, fight to the death.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking around at each other, and
Yeah.
you're just like, who the fuck's gonna get out of this one alive?
And again, we talked about it earlier, where they're showing a lot of people you think, like, oh, that's probably a key player, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
not. So, like, it gives you a moment to think,
Yeah.
like, who could it be? And then at the end, you find out, okay,
Yeah.
here's who it's going to be.
I know you love this anime, but they did that in Hunter x Hunter too, right? Like for the Hunter exams.
Did they fight to the death, though, or did they just have to run really fast down the
That
hallway
was-
and
that
some
was
of them didn't make it?
That was one of them, but at one point I think pretty sure they fight and then they get to go on, but they don't. Nobody dies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't the stakes weren't as high. There really was a challenge where they had to just run really far.
Yes, that's also true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little different, Mikey.
Hunter x Hunter, great anime though.
Depends who you ask. Okay, so while this fight's all going down, Gabimaru is kind of lobbying to like figuring it out without killing. He's like, "Can we just like talk about this and figure it out?" And obviously the answer is no. He's like, what a pain, fine. And so he murders a bunch of them with his bare hands.
Yeah.
Like, which was wild.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
and then-
actually one of my favorite scenes in the whole fucking season.
One of my favorite scenes, at the end of it, there's a scene where they like pan back and there's like a sunset behind him and he's
Yeah.
like shaking the blood off
Yeah.
like in the water knee high. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, fucking
Damn. Put that on my wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mic drop.
Yeah.
That's a wallpaper.
Yeah. Okay. So at the end of this, there's 10 criminals left. We meet them briefly. We'll meet them more later. So then we get on the boats. We get to paradise.
Yep.
Okay. And immediately Gabimaru has to fight another one of these criminals as if we didn't see that coming. There's
Yeah.
going to be infighting. Okay. And for some reason, I couldn't figure out why Sagiri makes him bind his hands for this fight. Like, why is that? Why can't you let him just go at it?
So Sandra Bullock is very strict with the rules.
Yeah.
Like by the book,
Yeah.
everything by the book.
Yeah.
So because of that, she's just not lenient with anything.
Yeah, but
So
why-
makes him do it that
Were
way.
they all supposed to have their hands bound
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they get to paradise? Oh, I missed that.
Yeah,
Okay.
forever. Like they were never supposed to untie their hands.
Oh, okay. There was like a cute moment where she's like,
They
she's got
just
the ropes. Yeah.
like they just all realize like, oh, like I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
If this person I'm caring for has their hands bound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I need their hands unbound because we're both being attacked by this monster.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that
that's
makes
why
sense.
mostly everybody unties everybody.
Yeah.
And also, what's funny is like Gabimaru knows that he can just get he can untie
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah,
can just
yeah.
break free at
Which is funny
any
because
moment.
he's also just following the rules. A lot of the time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He has no reason to think he shouldn't yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a logical guy. He's not a shitty dude.
no,
That's true.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Well, and at the end of the day, he wants to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He wants the pardon.
He's also so like fucking powerful. He knows he can beat most people with
Yeah.
his hands bound.
And he does. He wins
Yeah.
this fight. And at this point, I'm kind of thinking in my head, too, I'm like, is he just going to have to slowly work his way through each one of these criminals one at a time? And I'm like, probably. But also, it's like a decent underlying story. And they're not giving me Monster of the Week energy with these criminals. I know there's a lot more. And I know we're actually getting to it. As opposed to just like pushing it off and pushing
Yeah.
it off as we fight one guy
There will
after
be
another.
more story and
Yeah.
things will move along in between said fights amongst criminals. But if some fights amongst criminals happen along the way,
Totally.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so also another cool twist, and this is a kind of thing that like a lot of shows would like save for a season 2. But we find out there was like a whole nother group of rival criminals also hired, also on their way to the island.
yeah, that's Gabimaru's fucking clan.
Yeah.
So like he knows that he needs to get the fucking elixir of life.
Yeah.
Or everybody is going to die.
Exactly.
Like literally everyone is going to die.
And again, like talk about like piling things on, but not in a way that feels like too much. Because again, a lot of people that would be your season 2 arc.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You would save that. We're already on Paradise. We already have a bunch of criminals. We already have big bads. Why do we need that?
I think that's your carrot on the stick.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right.
You get that a little bit in here and you know
Yeah.
that's coming. And so it puts that anticipation for season 2 or whenever
Yeah.
that happens. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. Then he's going to have to like maybe fight his clan master or whatever it's called.
It
Like,
also
right?
gives some added
Chief.
weight to the situation Gabimaru finds himself
Yeah,
at
the
the end
pressure.
of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pressure.
Where he's forgotten a lot of things, and now he's going to be confronted by a bunch of people who know him.
Yeah.
And he can't maybe remember them
Yeah.
or remember everything that's happened with them.
Yeah.
And it's going to just be another added layer of confusion for our boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So on the island, a bunch of people die real quick. Both criminals and Yamada clan, like, what are they, warriors, samurais, whatever?
Executioners.
Are they all executioners? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
a bunch of them die really quick. And then we start seeing like the weirdness of the island, right? You see the monsters and the insects. There's like human-faced bugs. There's the weird fish man.
Yeah. Oh, the bugs. I don't know about you, but that reminded me of fucking Silence of the Lamb.
A little bit, like the album art.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the
That-
cover art.
Cover art. Yeah. The poster. Yeah.
Womp womp.
It puts the lotion on its skin.
You would love that line.
You would, yeah. You totally would.
Or it gets the hose.
Mikey just tucks and hangs out and looks himself in the mirror a lot.
Yeah. Would you fuck me?
That's Mikey energy, yeah.
I'd fuck me.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking Jay and Silent Bob?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's James Silent Bob.
Making
Oh,
fun
yes,
of.
that's
doing
actually
Buffalo
yeah,
Bill,
yeah.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just carrying on.
Carrying on. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of these, and this is something we didn't talk about in art, but like a lot of these like designs kind of have Titan energy. Like
Yeah.
Attack on Titan. Like
Yeah.
I was feeling some of the face designs. Is it similar?
Um,
Like, is the art studio even the same or
No.
Okay.
No, but it just has that larger than life feel because some of them are like bigger than trees, right? So
Yeah.
you get that same like giant versus his little people.
Yeah.
Giant humanoid thing
Yeah,
might just
yeah.
trigger
Maybe
Attack
that's
on
it.
Titan in
Something
your brain
about their
now.
mouths and
Yeah.
the teeth, but anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so after a bunch of people die, we end up forming a little team now. I guess like just like Survivor,
Yeah.
you realize, or just like 1994's No Escape starring Ray Liotta.
Yes.
You realize you gotta
Classic.
you
And
kinda have
Sandra
to team up.
Bullock.
No, she wasn't in that one.
I know.
But you kind of got to team up, right? So our team, and please forgive me, but like I have a
crossover.
I have a tendency to take the first name I hear, and that's the name of that character ongoing. And so some
Okay.
of these names are wrong, but like in this, they're describing each other sometimes with nicknames.
Yeah.
But we have Gabimaru and Sagiri, and then the one girl, they call her the Vixen, but she's the one you're saying is like, I forget what you called her. She's a ninja girl.
Ninja Girl, yeah, she's a
Yuzuriha.
Yeah, Yuzuriha.
I kept calling her the Vixen because they referred to her as that, I think, once.
That's fine.
yeah.
And then the other dude.
She is a bit of a vixen though. She's got that. She has that sex appeal that
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock doesn't have, and
Sure.
right.
I mean,
So-
Sandra Bullock's pretty hot.
Yeah,
In her prime, dude.
I mean, she's no Helen Mirren.
Yeah, exactly. You guys need to fucking know something here, okay?
Mikey's hammer drunk. Let's go.
Yeah.
Helen Mirren, not only in her prime, but in like her red days, fucking
You mean like
hot.
Not even 10 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
Babe. Super babe. She can teach me whatever she wants.
Keep going. All right. Okay, so, and then the ninja girl, the vixen, her mind or whatever, she calls him the raccoon dog once, and I'm like, well, that's his name now. I liked it.
Yeah, Tanuki.
Yeah.
And then there's one of the executioners is like, I don't remember his name, but he's a big dude and he knows Sagiri, and they like are kind of have a big brother relationship, it feels like, or like a surrogate father
Oh,
relationship.
Shion, the blind guy.
Yeah.
My favorite character.
You liked him?
Yeah, he's a boss.
Him and Gabimaru.
Yeah,
my two
interesting.
favorite characters.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about the monsters, and we find out they're flesh and bone, but they have no organs. So there's something unnatural about them, and they're all kind of weird about. They're like something strange about that. And then the ninja girl is like, "Oh, you mean they don't have dicks?" I was like, "Yeah, girl, they don't have dicks."
You tell him.
And they also are noticing that like the symbolism, the religious symbolism, it's all there's something wrong with it all. It's not all normal.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's something strange is basically what they're
this
getting
is the
from this island.
Frankenstein part, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
things are mixing in ways they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But that, you know what though, if we look at things historically, it's a really good depiction of that because you know when Buddhism came from India and it's kind of spread over into China and into Japan, right? It was a different, and even like Thailand and whatnot. It's a different version of Buddhism,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And even like some of that, like Taoism and all that stuff, they all kind of
Hybridization.
hybridized,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But for a place that's supposed to be the afterlife, they're like, it feels too glitchy. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If this is supposed to be paradise, then like that Buddha should be the fucking Buddha.
It's the thing,
Instead,
it
there's
was like I
something
was
wrong
saying
with it.
before. Like it's not like a graceful or a beautiful mixture of things. It's a crude,
Janky, yeah.
violent
Yeah.
mixture of
Yeah.
things, and that's why they feel like this feels off.
Yeah.
This feels
Yeah.
incorrect.
Yeah.
See, to me, this feels right. Right? Because, like, all of the religions out there and whatnot, if we really think of just human race in general, right? Like, sure, we have this idealization of, like, what the afterlife might look like depending on your religion, right? But I think there's just way too many similarities and based on history and just evolution in general. Like, if there were to be some sort of afterlife, it would be crude like this because it would be so many different people and what their visions would be all mashed together, and that's where we're all going to go.
I mean, who knows where we all
Well,
go.
that's Also, we don't
Yeah.
really fucking know.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
But you're right, it could go that way. It stands to reason.
But that makes more sense to me. Like
Yeah.
this makes more sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. It's interesting to see a take on the afterlife, whether it is or isn't, but it's like, it's interesting. Okay, so we are introduced to another criminal and their executioner, and she's like a little girl, a young girl or something.
Yeah. Well, we first think she's a boy.
That's right, yeah.
she kinda dresses as
That's
a boy,
right.
yeah.
And she's like conflicted about her murdered tribe and whether or not she should fight or just die. Because I guess her whole tribe got murdered or something.
Yeah. So they got all executed and like pillaged or whatever, and
Yeah.
she's like, she has very much so survival.
Guilt, survivor
Guilt,
guilt.
yeah, survivor guilt.
Because at first, yeah, she's straight up like, maybe I should just not bother. Maybe I should just like, this is too dangerous or whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. So that's newer guy that you're talking about, and it was interesting that like, so her people are called the Sanka people.
You dead man?
Did she not look
No,
maybe designed slightly?
Oh,
Like Dougie Doug from Cool Runnings?
Well, just like slightly Jamaican, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
And her people are the Sanka people.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You dead man?
No people say you know you can't believe.
Jamaica, we had a bobsled team.
Right?
Top
I'm
5
just
movies of all
saying-
time. Just going to put that out there.
Yep. Absolutely. But like, I'm just saying, I don't know if that's fucking coincidence, but it definitely crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a little Lovecraftian,
dude.
you might say.
That still fucked me up. Fuck that guy. Fuck you. I can't believe he named his fucking cat that.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
fucking nuts.
Yeah, man.
That is honestly, I'm still blown away by that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Don't
yeah,
look it up, people. Don't look it up.
Yeah, don't. I mean,
You're
fuck.
telling them to by saying
Yeah,
that.
but
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, that's weird.
But
But
anyways,
also, it does track for Japan though, because Japan was very much so, colonizers. Like they did want to.
Still, though?
at that point in feudal Japan.
I mean, now when they're making this.
Oh, now? No, but like this is where you know what I'm fucking saying, Jordy. I'm gonna fuck you.
But yeah, her story also is super tragic, obviously, because like she kind of inadvertently led the shogunate like to her fucking village.
Yeah,
right?
which is all the more reason why she has the survivor guilt.
Of course, yeah.
I kind of hate them as a pairing though. Like it's very annoying. Especially the moment where
her and the hot rod guy, like
I don't know who the fuck
new
he
guy.
is. Yeah, but like when she finds out or he finds out she's a girl, and they have that little interaction, I'm like, I fucking hate this, man. I didn't enjoy that. It was annoying.
I didn't mind it.
It was annoying
I mean,
to me.
it was kind of like it was the mechanism for them to bring in what's his name, the blind samurai, Shion.
Yeah.
That was his role. It was his role to bring her and Shion together.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, where are we? Okay, so they're one of the I think it's Shion is trying to get Sagiri to like go back home. Is it him? No, it's someone else. One of the guys is like, "Go, you need to be going home and like wielding children for the clan. You shouldn't even be here."
Oh no, that's the other big dude.
Yeah. That's the dude I was talking about earlier who joined the team, and she's like, "Nah," and she has this big speech about gender and status and honor, and she's like talking about, and then the giant paper face like giant, just comes out of nowhere and judo chops a piece out of this guy's side, right out of his side.
Yeah, because he was a dual wielder.
Okay.
Like he had two swords.
The big guy.
Yeah, the big guy.
Okay.
He had two swords.
He gets like chopped almost in half as he's scolding her for like not just going home and being a woman with the clan. So yeah, you're right. That's not Shion. That's the other guy.
Yeah.
So now Gabimaru is fighting this giant, and there's like a million moves that don't work. Like they can't fight this guy. And Sagiri ends up landing a blow and severing one of his fingers, and then together in unison they go, "We'll do this together." It's like, oh god. Yeah. And then it's interesting how when she's saving his ass, that's when she's OP.
Yeah.
Like she goes wild when she's saving him or working with him, which again talks to how they're intertwined. They're like storylines. They start
or where her power really derives from, right? Like, because a lot of characters in anime, just in stories in general, like they can't do things on their own unless it's for someone or for protecting someone. Yeah. Right. And you even get that a little bit in your like in IRL, where people all of a sudden have like, if they're protecting something, they
Mama bear strength, dude.
Mama bear, exactly, Mama bear strength.
Yeah, it's true. Anyways, they start setting shit on fire. It's kind of crazy. There's like a really like on the nose description of carbon monoxide poisoning and how it works. But it's actually fucking kind of genius because by setting all this shit on fire, they're actually like making the air up there unbreathable and bringing the giant down to where he's prone for a beheading.
Yes.
So she goes for a beheading, nails it, and then suddenly I like kind of feel bad for a serial cannibal because we get his backstory, and I'm like, aw. I know he's eaten a lot of people.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because he was just kind of born, like just
he didn't get the right support.
Well, he wasn't raised with the right family.
That's what
he
I mean.
didn't have any protect.
Yeah.
I mean, he was bullied.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, you get a little bit of.
Kind of love him. Kind of love him.
You get some sympathy for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's dead now. So the team, minus the big dude who clearly got like chopped in half, they find like a village. They come across this village and they run into like a little girl and Groot.
Yeah, that was my first thought too.
Yeah, of course it is. And Ninja Girl explains how she's like, I'm gonna find out how my moves work on these monsters, and she like runs off to go fight, but we haven't even seen her fight yet.
Yeah,
and I'm like, kind of cool. They're saving her, and they're even telling us they're saving her. She's like, I'll be back. I need to go practice my moves. I'm like, I want to see though. Which
I want to see.
So Groot is like sentient somehow, which is weird because none of the other monsters have been so far. A little confusing. And he's like completely neutral for some reason. He doesn't care that they're there. Yeah. He's not trying to kill them. All he cares about is protecting the girl. And so
or finding the girl at first, right?
Yeah.
Which is the best way to introduce like the connection between the island and the characters. Right?
It is a little bit, yeah. It's strange though because by introducing him, they've introduced an element of the island that like we haven't built on yet. Like where did he come from? Why is he like that? You know what I mean? I don't know. So far, all we've seen is.
But that's the thing, right? It gives you those. It makes you have those questions, right? So that way they can answer them for you later.
Later.
Yeah.
Not yet, but that's all right. We also, somewhere I glossed over a scene where there's two brothers. One of the brothers like pretended and learned how to be an executioner, like faked his way in.
Yeah.
So that he could be the minder of his own brother who was a criminal. Yeah. those two are the first two to encounter. I had originally called them the sexy ones, but they're the Tenzin.
What?
They're the first ones
Why the sexy?
because they're literally fucking when they get encountered. They're like sexy, like
Oh
blonde.
no! Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the brothers being the fucking sexy ones.
The Tenzin. The brothers like come up upon them and they're
Yeah.
like all fucking.
Yeah.
And then they have to fight them. Anyways, Groot explains about the Tenzin. He's like, he kind of like explains who they are in a weird way.
Because Groot thinks that they're all fucking like gods.
That's it.
Yeah.
At this point, that's what he thinks.
Yeah.
And he explains that like all the humans who come here become blooms. They all become flowers. And also he says the elixir's real because I'm blessed by it. That's how I became who I am. And we're like, okay, the elixir's real.
Yeah.
So far, we know
yeah.
that's what we think.
But you might become a fucking tree.
Yeah, exactly.
You might be Groot. I am Groot.
Then there's the one filler episode in the whole show because there's an entire episode just dedicated to bathing. Where all the characters just kind of take turns having baths.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is a bit of a filler, but it's a necessary one, I think, for them because you can't have all your characters just go all the time. You need a respite,
Yeah.
right? And it makes sense for them because not only do they have to have a respite to do that, but it also develops the story even more and their connection.
Yeah, and my explanation was also it's kind of like historically context for the time period. Like bathing was like very important back then, and kind of like not just clean myself, but like a little ceremonial.
It's a spiritual thing.
Yeah, exactly. So they all have to have their spiritual bath.
Yes.
For the record, the two brothers, Toma and Shobei, the blonde one and his brother, who's his like watcher or whatever,
Bakugo.
Asaemon. Well, that was the thing, right? Like it's exactly who you think. It's exactly who you think of when you see him, or like a Denji, or like any of these blonde, spiky teeth, shark tooth kind of characters.
Yeah.
But another character I think they did a really good job kind of subverting expectations. Some of the characterization and some of the choices made I thought were fresh and interesting. And what I had assumed for that character wasn't exactly how things went, actually. And just loved the relationship between the two of them. I just thought it was really, really interesting. And again, just showing how rich this show is, because these are secondary characters that have far more character development than a lot of main characters get in a lot of anime.
And also, like, there's something about the two of them that they're doing something that I think is important for the plot, because the one dude's eating monsters.
Yeah.
And getting powers from it. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's a long play that they're introducing there, I think,
Yeah.
that's going to really be insane down the line. And really blow their whole storyline open. And it's going to be one of probably the best arcs is their storyline, their brother.
I think so. I see that coming as well.
Yeah.
I
Not to
can't wait.
mention, like, he's also a really cool character to bring in with a whole bunch of samurais who are using katanas.
Yeah.
Right? And he's using fucking monster parts or like monster weapons.
Yeah.
Right? Like just
He doesn't
having
give a
that.
fuck, bro.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like and just having that kind of juxtaposition with a character. It's
And his
always
brother's
nice.
kind of like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, no, shut up. You can do it. You know you can fucking do it. Go do fucking kill
Well,
them.
that's the thing, his brother. You think his brother's like meek and like timid and like not worth much,
But
when-
still pretty intense.
That's the thing. When you see them work together,
Yeah.
it's just like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
they have
he's
that
still-
brother energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He still fucking became an executioner.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
It wasn't
it's still-
easy to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so let's get back into it. So another like one of the Tenzin, who is like now gender bending, we're seeing that for the first time, attacks the girl and the girl boy, the girl who pretended to be a boy, and her dude,
Neuter guy, yeah.
and he's like can fight, but he never has much stamina. That's his thing. He's always like, oh, I'm so tired. And then this is when what did you call him? The blind guy. What was his name again? Shion shows up. And he's mad that the dude is protecting the criminal. He's like, just let her die, dude. Like, that's our job here. Stop. But then pretty quickly he's like, okay, we'll help her or whatever. Because I think he's a reasonable guy and just didn't know the whole story kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. He was the first executioner to believe her story as a prisoner that she was wrongfully accused of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
We got all of this backstory about him being the master of the little wiener guy who I hate, and that he has to kill like a big boobed criminal. That's how he got to the island. He was in charge of the big boob one, and you see earlier she looked like she killed him, but it actually turned out that he killed her. So I thought she was roaming around, but actually it was him roaming around. Still.
yeah. I would have liked to have known her backstory a little bit more, but I feel like it would have been very plain and very like predictable.
It would have been. I think that was done on purpose. I think they gave you you already know this character.
Yeah.
You already know her.
Yeah, you already know her.
She got to the island. She died. Fill it in.
Yeah.
Anyways, the blind guy. No, not the blind guy. The little wiener guy who I hate. He kind of sticks around and faces basically his death. He's fighting the Tensen, and he tells them to run.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even tell them. He thinks them to run, and they do.
Yeah.
And they run off, and there's some weird cowboy music going down as this all happens in slow mo with flashbacks. I was like, what a fucking stupid scene, but also it's all good.
It's fucking great. I liked it. It's that self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
You're watching the teacher see his student, sacrifice himself to be able to run away when the teacher should be the one sacrificing, right? And he stuck it out, came back to get taught, and
okay, so we're kind of on the other side of this village, back with our team now, and Gabimaru, they're in this foggy forest kind of setting now, and Gabimaru faces a Tensen, and the Tensen's like, ugh, do I have to fight you now?
Yeah.
Don't make me do it. And Gabimaru's like, no, we're gonna fight. And he's like, fine. And so the Tensen is changing forms quite a bit, changing forms and gender. It seems like they have this hierarchy where when they hang out, this one anyhow hangs out as a female, but then they level up into this buff kind of male. Again, another element that's kind of implying maybe a little bit that female form's weaker. I was getting that energy from this show.
No, it's
what I got was that the female form is better suited for
fucking
sexual activity and breeding and mating, whereas for defense and combat, that the male aggressive form is the better, more powerful tool.
So when I
really?
said weaker, it's only in fighting elements, but there's more nuance to it.
That's how I read it.
See, I read it a little bit differently. Yeah, because the reproduction and all that stuff. We later know why they fuck all the time, right? But
because it feels good.
Well, obviously. It's like pizza.
Fucking a pizza.
Fucking a
feels
pizza.
so good.
No. So I feel like the male form is great for more impact, hard hitting, where the female form is nimbler, faster, right? You're flexible, right? So different kind of combat styles, and being able to switch back and forth from that, you're able to do a way more variety in fighting instead of just being one note.
Yeah. All right. There's some nuance, basically, I think.
And I think it's really represented in a lot of those fights with the Tensen.
It's also very represented in the way that this Tensen then blooms into this weird flower lizard.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And the center of it is a pollen-covered black and white man and woman kind of thing, and they're intertwined, up in the center of it. I was that feels like you're saying something.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're saying.
I mean, it's very, again, black and white, yin and yang.
You're right, it's yin yang.
It's duality.
Yeah, you're right.
The duality of things. Not only, it's also just really cool to see a kaiju. I've never seen a flower kaiju before, right? It's always been some sort of either lizard, dinosaur, monster, right? It's just very cool. Not to mention, you see a lot of those flowers that have the pollen, I guess, sticks. I don't know what to call them.
Sticks?
I don't know what it is. What the fuck is it? Is that
stamen?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, stamen.
Stamen. Stamos!
That's a guy.
I'm going to make you watch Godzilla vs. Biolante.
I don't think I've definitely haven't watched that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. If you like flower kaiju, that's a real
I like
good
the idea
one,
of it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You guys will like that one.
I love kaiju stuff.
Then you'll like that one. That's why I said it.
Yeah. We should do a fucking Godzilla marathon.
We should do a Godzilla marathon.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. Yeah.
Okay, so the lizard flower Tensen thing is now doing electricity moves, and the little girl actually swoops in and saves Gabimaru. And what's interesting is to do it, she does the light blast thing that the Tensen have been doing. So we see now for the first time, okay, she's got some weird power. This little girl.
You just immediately see she's one of them.
Yeah. She's one of them.
It's how do you not see that? She's the
I guess so. We haven't seen any
looking.
children.
Nobody said it in plain language, but at that point, I'm like, oh, okay, she's a Tensen.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we get to this Greek gods on Olympus scene where the Tensen are kind of sitting around a table talking. And they're like having this casual conversation about the male and female forms, like, "Ooh, oh," you know, it's got that kind of
Yeah.
like, why?
That snooty, like aristocratic.
It's very snooty
Yeah.
energy, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And their leader, who like legit is like a Zeus,
Yeah.
is actually like kind of shook about how strong they're all getting. Because I guess maybe he's not getting that strong or something. I don't know.
Well, so you find out that like they're not actually the peak. You know.
No, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he's like kind of shook about how strong these things are getting, right? And then the one who fought Gabimaru comes like and shows up and they beat the fuck out of it.
Yeah,
basically.
for failing. Yeah.
And she or he or it, I guess, lies about killing Gabimaru. She's like, no, I got it. I got him. I killed him. Anyways, and then the tree guy, Groot tells the team, he informs our team that the Tenzin aren't actually immortal and they're not gods.
Yeah.
And then the guy who calls himself the Green Dragon and his monitor enthusiastically join the team. They like kind of run up and they're like, "Hey, let's help you for the sake of killing and science." That's basically their motivation to join the team. So they're on the team now.
I like that guy. He's kind of like the comedic relief, I feel like.
Yeah, but he's also kind of badass.
Yeah, he's very badass. Because his whole thing is like, I'm going to die. I want to die.
Yeah.
I want to be a living legend.
I'm gonna take out as many of them as I can as I die.
Yeah.
Okay, so the team now, they're trying to figure out what's going on, and the guy who was the minder for the ninja girl. There's a lot of people whose names I don't remember.
Nerdy McNerdster.
Raccoon Dog is his name in my notes. He kind of explains, and again, he's the only guy who's doing like inference. Like he's just looking at stuff and be like, it's probably because, whereas a lot of other shows, people will just be thinking like, that's because this and that means this. They're just thinking shit. So he's basically saying this patchwork of faiths is clearly, to me, like based on science, the work of a singular creator. Like one person's been making all this, is what he says, and we're all like,
yeah. Well, he's the one who finds patterns and everything.
exactly,
right?
yeah. Shit, we're hopping around. So like the blind guy and his new apprentice, the girl, they're like fighting a bunch of monsters, and he tells her, he's like, I'm not gonna train you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen. She's like, no, you have to train me. Like, that's how this is going to go. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. But he gives her, like, a little pep talk. And she's like, well, fine, then I'll just figure it out on myself. And, like, I'm like, okay, well, she's going to clearly get trained by him inadvertently. That's how this is going to go on.
Yeah. It's like, what is it? What does she say? Like, no power and or strength and weakness same time or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because also this is when you see when she used her power, she grew.
The little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. She calls it the Tao or Dao or whatever.
Dao, yeah.
And she's explaining how to use it. She's trying to teach them.
Yeah. And again, that's the other thing where it's like you have the Tao, the Dao, the key, right? Like the inner strength or your spirit energy, right? Like it's all all intertwined in like different religions and martial arts too, right?
So now while they're learning this, we're meeting these weird little like low-level priest kind of monsters where they're like half human, half monster, like bug situation things.
So they're like humanoid bugs.
They're a different species, and they explain how they work for the Tenzin. Right?
Yeah, they're just below them. They can't reach the Tenzin level, but they can get pretty close to it if they train.
Yeah.
And they're not just like the other mindless monsters on the island that they've been slaughtering. Like they're more sentient than those things.
Yeah.
Are.
In fact, actually, I wrote it down here. They describe it that the Tenzin are like kind of in control. That's what these guys think. They're called the Doshi.
Yeah.
And they serve and study under the Tenzins. They don't know anything. They're learning, I guess, as well too. And then the Soshin are the big monsters, and they're defective.
Yeah.
They're ones that didn't work out,
and
they just let them loose.
Exactly.
And they also explain that the Tenzin eat the dead humans after they bloom. And that's where they get their power and their energy, which again explains as to why Bro, when he eats the monsters, is getting energy from that too.
Yeah.
And
then so we also find out a very important part here.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Where the reason why they all look for the girl.
Yeah.
You don't know why?
Why? Why is that?
Are you kidding me?
Why they're looking for May?
Why they're looking for her?
The little girl?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very important.
I miss things, guys. Don't get mad. Just tell me.
So her family was basically like using her, like, or we're set to use her as like a sex slave, basically, for them to practice sex on.
I have that here. You're just ahead of it in my notes.
Oh, okay.
I see it here.
Yeah, right. Like she just constantly gets R-worded, and that's because because that also brings out a certain
Yeah.
type of energy.
Yeah.
And when everybody else finds that out, they're like, "Fuck you guys."
I have that here. Yeah, they have like a Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
And they're like different fucking positions give us different power.
Yeah.
We can manipulate the Tao differently if we fuck
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
So-
"Fuck me."
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah, super gross.
Gross.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Why do you make me watch this shit?
Yo, it's a crazy anime, man. It's
Yeah.
so good.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're fighting these like weird bug. The brothers have to fight like a bug priest, and our team has to have to fight some of these bug priests. They all win, and during the process of it, Gabimaru actually figures out how he like figures out how to use it.
Yeah, because keeps getting hit by it, and he's like, "Oh, that's what it feels like." Okay, I'll emulate that.
Exactly. Which again,
Yeah.
super OP, but like he figures that shit out.
Yeah.
And then him and the weird bug dudes, they kind of both kind of agree. They're like, and they just say it basically, like, "Oh, I'm actually like as strong as a Tenzin now."
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, I guess we just accept that to be the case.
I think that's also a bit of his arrogance. I don't think he
course.
actually is.
For sure, but
Yeah.
the bug dudes, they confirm it, right?
Yeah.
The centipede guy, I think he's like
Yeah.
a fucking wiener. He's like, no.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we? So there's this palace, and then a bunch of the team go into a palace, and Groot's dead immediately.
Yeah. So this
Decapitated.
Yeah, they go through that whole forest of people praying that are turned into
trees.
turned into trees, and they meet.
Pretty normal.
Yeah, well, this is a thing, right? like they still don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right, and they still feel like, the fucking elixir of life is still real, and all those myths and stories are still real.
Yeah.
Right, and once they reach the palace, because no human has ever gotten
That far. Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And then they meet a Tenzin.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
He decapitates Groot.
Yeah.
And the Tenzin explains how he's like fucks with humans. He's like,
Yeah.
this is what I do to them, whatever. And also the elixir here turns humans to trees.
Yes.
Like the elixir they've been searching, like it's not the elixir of life. It just turns you to tree.
Yeah.
And then you pray forever.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And then they're just disappointed.
And
in
he's
the
like,
fact,
the elixir you're looking for, not even here.
yeah, doesn't exist.
Yeah, you're wrong about that.
Yeah.
Now finally we see our ninja girl in action.
Yes.
And again, I love they saved her for this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe waifu energy for me, my dude.
Oh!
Maybe, dude. She's cool as fuck, dude.
She is cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I love her too.
She's
man.
pretty like rational.
Yeah.
Kind of badass.
Yeah.
Too skinny.
Well, we talked about this earlier. We literally talked about this earlier, dude.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier.
I'm gonna.
And I don't choose waifus based on how their bodies look.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I guess. Is it though?
But yeah, she is total waifu.
Yeah.
She is total
I
waifu.
think so. Anyway,
I'm gonna buy you your first fucking waifu figure.
Well, you don't have to do that.
I'm gonna do that. This is my gift to you for.
You buy me gifts
Yeah.
all the time.
No, but this is an important one.
You're gonna be like, here it is. I finally got it for you, and it's gonna be the fucking mom from Erased.
That'd be so good.
Those lips.
Yeah.
They can't put that into 3D.
Yeah,
no, they
no.
can't. It would
Impossible.
look so weird.
No, it's actually
would
gonna
look
be
s-
Michael from fucking prison school.
Which one's that one?
That's the big boobied one.
At least Hana. At least get me the Medusa crotch.
Anyway.
Okay, so she takes the Tenzin out, and obviously we know that's not for good. We
Yes.
haven't killed one of these guys yet. And she swallows poisons and secretes them. Oh yeah, that's her move, right?
Yeah.
But it kind of looks like she's just like throwing loads around.
Yeah. That was the choice.
Yeah, that was the choice, right?
That's usually the choice.
Yeah.
That's
Any
a choice
of these
in a lot
fuckers
of.
ever bust out of the walls.
Yeah. Big
With
fat
like,
load
a
of cum
huge,
then.
with like a huge cum shot.
Yeah. Big fat load of
her.
cum then. That's her, yeah.
She just busts out of the walls with like a huge cum shot.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm like, it kind of looks like the way they're
fuck.
drawing, the way she secretes them. I'm like, they just were looking for an excuse to draw a girl covered in loads.
Yeah, but they normally do.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
either covered in loads or like there's also just like the
Sweat
the,
or
like
water.
Well, no, like there's like the very big craze of like slime and
Yeah.
like and like that's big in Japan.
Okay, yeah.
And like girls covered in slime and
Yeah.
stuff is like that's a whole lane.
Very
And I
strange.
think this is definitely servicing that to a
Yeah.
degree.
very strange. Made me
Yeah.
laugh, but also I was like, I like it.
Yeah, this is like
I'm pro it.
the first time you really get any kind of fan service in this anime.
I wouldn't even call it fan service.
Yeah, it's
not,
not,
like her
but
tits
it-
are hanging out or anything like that.
But it's not, but it is.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they
Right?
definitely didn't have to make it like that.
No, there's
That
different
was a
ways.
choice.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't have to secrete them. There's other ways she can use poison.
So many.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
many ways, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of ways.
Very strange. Anyways, our team kind of like triple teams this Tenzin, the three of them, the ninja and our two homies here. And they slice him up in two, and I'm like, for good this time? Because he does have the Tao, the energy. Like, maybe this was it. You know what I mean? Turns out Groot's all right. His head, anyhow.
Yep.
It's just the head. And he looks like the mask from The Mask.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's it. And Sagiri's like, well, what do we do now that there's no elixir? And they're like, well, let's save everyone.
Yeah.
There's all these people on this island who don't know there's no elixir, and we made it this far. What else are we going to do?
Yeah.
So that's their plan now. Meanwhile, like the flowers from the dead Tenzin or the sliced Tenzin, I don't even know if it's dead yet or not. It attacks the ninja girl, and the raccoon dog, her like minder guy, takes one for the team for her.
Of course.
And we were like, whoa, what? Because he loved her all
Yes.
along. We didn't get into that before, but
No.
he was full on falling in love with her.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it was the
Meanwhile,
first.
she's trying to fuck
Yeah.
him, Gabimaru, the whole time.
Basically.
And Gabimaru's like, I'm getting it from all angles. I don't need it from you, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was the first time that he ever had someone like really understand and see him.
Yeah.
Right, where he was just kind of ignored most of the time to
Yeah.
do like to fit a certain role and expectations, where he kind of felt free and understood.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it really was. I don't know if he did he. I can't remember. Did he actually say he was in love with her?
I think at the end, like when he's
Yeah.
dying, he might have like professed his love.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Something like that.
Something
Either
like
way,
that.
we knew as watchers, as viewers.
Yeah. And this is the thing that I said earlier, right? And
Yeah.
I really like the fact that our vixen didn't like say "I love you too" or
No,
any of that.
in fact, her response was she's so calm and so still, and I think she's internalizing it all. I don't think she's like, blocking out feelings or
Yeah.
whatever. But also, she's like, well, the Tenzin is still alive, and so very calmly, she's like, we gotta try and kill it again.
yeah.
And she's kind of like have a half smile on her
Yeah.
face when she's saying it. And I was like, okay, go fucking do it. Meanwhile, blind dude shows up and he's here now. He's been just killing and learning all this time as well,
Yeah,
learning
and
about
he-
the Tao and stuff.
Yeah, because he can sense the Tao way better than anyone else because he doesn't have
Exactly.
eyes.
And he's figured out a way to attack kind of the Tao and
Yeah.
not the monsters at all. So that's the way he's been getting there. Instead of just slicing for the head,
Yeah.
he's figured out how to slice their aura, I guess, right?
Yeah, because that's how he's been fighting his whole life, right? Without when he's been blind.
Yeah.
He's finding like the center point of each creature's like where the Tao is originating from, where
Yeah.
it's flowing out of, and that's the point you attack.
Exactly.
It might not be the head, might not be any
Or the
you know,
body.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wherever the Tao is emanating from is where you attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember this part of it, but my note says something funny that Sagiri and the girl who was with the blind guy, they're now also in on the fight. Everyone's fighting, and they're coated in the loads now too.
Yeah.
Because they're like, you better lick it onto us. And she has to lick it onto them.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
I think it did.
Okay, yeah. That's
I
what my
remember
note
correctly. I
says.
remember
Yeah.
rolling my eyes at that.
Yeah. I'm rolling my eyes at reading it here.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not. I'm fucking missing
Mikey
out on
loved
that.
Mikey's gonna go back and
That's
watch
weird because
just
that's
that
right
part.
up your alley.
Yeah.
That's some prison school shit, Mikey.
What episode was that?
Can you timestamp that?
Yeah. Which girls had loads on their face? Okay, so another thing that happens is the criminal girl, the Sanka clan girl.
Yeah.
I shouldn't use that as my
Weird.
reference, but that's what's in my head now.
Yeah, man.
She goes to the dude, the nerdy executioner dude who just died, and she starts cutting the flowers from him. And we find out that she can heal people with hugs.
Yeah, which is kind of. I feel like it was a bit of an ass pull with that one.
Yeah, the magic's
Yeah.
falling apart here a little bit for me.
That one was a bit of an ass pull. I was like, because
Yeah.
you gave me nothing of her
Yeah.
like that up until this point. Like, I mean, a little bit as far as like her training with Shion.
And they
to
do
feel it
imply
out,
that
but-
in this world that like training gives you powers.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what this world's about.
like
I-
your
man.
key energy or your Tao is more heightened.
Yeah.
Lots of people have powers in this world.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to be more convincing and well explained and come off better than others, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's,
Nobody for
yeah.
a second questioned Gabimaru being able to conjure fucking purple fire out of the fucking
Yeah,
abyss.
but that's because
Yeah.
he's badass.
Purple File's a little ambiguous though.
Yeah.
Heal people with hugs,
This is what
loads
I- but-
coming out of my skin.
But this is what I'm saying. Some are going to sell better than others.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole idea of her having a power is well within
Yeah, oh,
like,
yeah.
frame here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
I'm
wish
not-
it
yeah.
wasn't heal people with hugs.
Right. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
it would've- yeah, if they just had kind of given her something a little bit cooler,
Yeah.
Like you can still have healing powers, but there's a cooler way of doing
Or give her
that.
a different mechanism to deliver said healing.
Yeah.
Make her fine. She's fine. She's a healer.
Or like
Yeah.
let her find out at the same time we do. Let it be a surprise to her too as
Yeah.
well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh fuck, if I pee on you, you get healed.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Mikey.
Nice.
Pretty good. All right.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't even. I can't.
I like it. I'm pro it. Okay, so the smart dude who we thought was dead, covered in flowers, he actually like has knowledge of flowers. Like he knows about flowers, of course, because
Of
he's
course.
the smart guy.
Yeah. He's the fucking guy in the chair.
So he kind of actually is able to help the blind dude aim his strikes, like at where to like hit his sword or whatever. And so they got one. Basically, they're killing a flower. It's hard to kill these flowers, basically.
Yeah.
And so then the ninja girl, because the raccoon dog guy, who I'm calling raccoon dog, we know he's gonna die eventually. The cutting of the flowers off and the healing with hugs was temporary, a hold off. Like she can heal people, but like not from this yet, right? And so she's like kindly like graciously guides him to death.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, that's a good ending for them. You know what I mean? She's like, well, he loves me. I don't love him, but he's nice.
Yeah.
We bonded a little bit.
Yeah, and show some compassion.
Let me help you die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Just,
That was cute.
Touching.
yeah.
So we're out of there now. And then we get like a very convenient, like, let's review the situation from the blind guy. And he's basically explaining like, okay, we need the Tau to defeat the Tenzin. And we all have it, but we have to figure out how to harness it. Like it's like life energy, essentially, is what he explains.
Yeah. And the one big thing too that we didn't mention is like if you use too much Tau, you get all fucked up
Exactly.
in like
Yeah, he's like, watch out, you're gonna pay a cost if you use too much of it. So, and here we're like immediately thinking, okay, well, like Gabimaru and Crazy Bro who's eating the fucking like that's gonna happen. That's why they're building up those two as having a showdown.
Yeah.
Right? He also explains once again, there's no elixir of life here.
Yep.
That's it. And ironically, at the end, it's the ninja girl who has some theories of what's going on. And some of her theories, she's like, maybe we're just tripping balls.
Yeah, and
Maybe
this,
that's what's
this is the
happening.
red herring.
Yeah, she's like, Shinobi often cause hallucinations. Like maybe he's making us trip balls. Maybe we don't know what the fuck's happening. And then this is where she kind of like lays out like what you said earlier. She's like, maybe Gabimaru's backstory is bullshit. She's like, how did a Shinobi even get married? That doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
And he forgets shit. You know what I mean? So obviously they're going to feed into this theory 100% that his backstory is not what his backstory, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that a lot of what we know about him is going to turn out to not be the truth, and they're going to rewrite it. You know what I mean?
Which I hope they do and they don't. Because I think it's fun to fuck around with stuff like that, but at some point there still needs to be some sort of anchor.
Anchor, true.
Right?
I agree. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
But that's kind of the end, right?
that's the end, man.
Yeah.
That's a fucking ride.
It's a ride.
It's a ride. Like for like what was this? 12 episodes?
Yeah.
13 episodes?
Yeah.
There's
13,
a lot.
I think, yeah.
There's a lot that fucking happened.
Sorry, I was reading as you were talking towards the end there. Do you talk about him losing his memory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He forgets all sorts of
Yeah.
shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 And again, I think that's going to feed into her theory about how like his backstory's not real. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
of
saying,
course.
right?
But like, he also just lost his like positive moral compass entirely, basically.
Yeah.
Now, when he wakes up, his whole motivation for doing anything good and right,
Oh yeah.
and
That's a good point.
by the book is gone now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his motivation, which was getting back to his wife,
Yeah.
who's so wholesome and good, is
Yeah.
gone.
But she was also his motivation for doing good things and doing
Yeah.
the right thing and
Yeah.
making good choices. Is he would, obviously think back to her and her opinions and
Yeah.
stuff, and now
Yeah.
that's gone. So, well, I think what a crazy fucking cliffhanger to leave it on, where you have this incredibly developed character, and now
Strip him away back to the hollow.
You're making him question everything, or you're hitting a reset on his brain for a moment and being like, all right, next season this guy's got to rebuild.
Well, and
Yeah.
another
While
reason.
shit is exploding around him.
Yeah.
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 Trying to also figure out who these people are around me.
Yeah.
And now his
Right.
old clan is also coming
Yeah.
on his fucking heels.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
I
he
used
can't
to,
remember them.
I used to do backyard wrestling. And one time a guy got like legitimately knocked unconscious in the middle of a match, but we used to film it, and so it was important for us to not just stop.
Yeah.
And so we just kept pretending to punch him
Yeah.
on the ground, and he was lying unconscious, and he woke up in the middle of it with a guy straddling him, fake punching him in the face, and we have it on tape. You can see him just like which is literally what's gonna happen to him, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same energy, 100%.
The difference
my
is
God.
is my buddy
Yeah.
didn't have a Sagiri.
He wasn't in real
Yeah.
danger.
Yeah,
And didn't have
Sagiri,
amnesia.
it's going to become her job now to help him, because
Yeah.
another thing that happens at the end there is everyone's talking about like maybe he's bullshit, whatever, and she's like, no, she's defending him,
Yeah.
and she sees something in him, and I'm like, they're trauma bonding, the two of
Yeah,
them,
for sure.
And
But
another
she's-
reason why I think it's her show more than his is because now it's her job to help him,
Yeah.
to help him put it all back together.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, nobody knows other than Gabimaru that he's lost his memory, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody still thinks that Gabimaru is him.
Yeah,
Right?
I also think May is going to be a key for him as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think she's a big like linchpin, and it's a big reminder for his wife, and like a big, I don't know, just it seems like a big emotional like touchstone for
Yeah.
Gabby Maru is May.
yeah,
She seems to have some sort of hold on him.
yeah.
She really
Right.
influences him in that creek.
Yeah.
Is
in
May
the ba-
going
in
to
the
be
back
his
thing.
new
Yeah, yeah.
wife?
Yeah.
No, dude. Ew.
Dude, she fucking...
She's hundreds of
years
old.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, she just aged like 10 years from using the Tao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gross. Honestly, episode 1 of the next season, she's gonna have big old tits hanging out of her shirt.
Yeah,
and everyone's
probably.
gonna be like,
Big
she's not.
sloppies.
She's not a human. She's
Yeah.
not a child.
Yeah.
Or she's a boy now.
It's Nezuko all over again.
Really.
Yeah, probably.
I don't like it. I didn't like that either.
Yeah, I know.
We talked about it though.
Oh,
right.
man. All right. That was a long one.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you rate this, man?
I gave it 8 out of 10.
Oh, good.
Hey, listen.
Listen.
Whoa, okay.
8 out of 10.
Listen,
It will lose a
listen.
lot of points if they make that little girl a sexual icon or something.
Yeah.
I won't like it.
Icon.
Yeah, I won't like it. I won't like it.
Shit. That's amazing, dude.
I don't like
That's
it.
okay. You have your waifu in this anime, so you're good.
That's
I do,
cool.
yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I am actually very happy that you have your first legitimate waifu.
I said maybe, and then
No,
Jay
no,
said
no,
it
no,
doesn't
no.
count because she doesn't have big boobs.
No. Don't listen to fucking
Doesn't
Jay.
count for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't. Jay's opinion doesn't matter. You have a
True.
I think she's
waifu.
cool.
You have a waifu.
I think she's cool.
You had no. You I heard you have a waifu, and so this is your first legitimate waifu,
Thanks.
and I'm happy for
All
you.
right. I wish they didn't make her covered in loads all the time.
But that's probably what you're gonna be thinking about.
Nobody wants to
when
see
you
their
thought-
waifu like that.
Everybody wants to see their waifu like that.
How long are we gonna stretch this long ass podcast?
We can keep going
Yeah,
for a
yeah, no.
while.
Yeah,
All right,
now we
Jay.
can.
What do you give this?
9.5.
9.5. Whoa.
This one got
Easy.
Jay.
That is a huge one.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Dude, I give this an 8.9.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
It's really good.
Just can't give it a 9, eh?
No, dude.
Well, we don't give 10s. And if I give it a 9, I mean,
Then what?
then I'm getting into like the 10, almost 10 territory.
You've given 9s before, you idiot.
I know, but this
Given
has,
9 5s before.
Yeah.
I know. But I want to give this one an 8.9.
You're allowed to do that. There's no rules at all.
Just know that your explanation just now didn't
Yeah.
explain it. But
But there's no rules. So.
There's no rules.
it got an 8.6 on my anime list or whatever. the fuck.
8.6?
Yeah.
Right.
So
I thought that would actually be a little higher, not going to lie.
yeah, like at least 0.3 higher.
Yeah, like at least 8.9. Yeah. Mid to high tier.
Yeah, you know.
Anyways,
And
you
maybe
guys
high
can
to low
find
tier.
me in my bed
Jay's done.
Jay is
very
done.
soon. I'm very tired.
Oh, okay. Yes, Jordy, where can people find you?
At reaching in. Don't talk to me about my waifu. She's mine.
See? There it is. And you guys can find me at Shmanime Pod on TikTok and the Discord. I fucking love that. Jordy has a waifu now. I'm so happy. My job is done. And
That's the end of the podcast,
that's the end of
everybody.
the podcast.
You're not doing any more
Good
episodes.
night. Good night. Bye.
Bye.